Well, like you said, touches on leadership, makes you feel better when you can be able to go talk to these kids, and it just boosts your confidence out on the playing field as well.
So what were some of the things that you did for community service this last year?
So recently I went to a Boys and Girls Club, we played with some kids, then we did some stuff for like charities. We also did the stuff last summer. I did a lot, like numerous football camps.
Okay, yeah.
Just a lot of football camps pretty much.
So
What's up, Draft Wizard fam? It's your boy Jay Tuck, and today I want to talk about a prospect I've been speaking about pretty much since the draft season started, and that's Jordan Morgan, left tackle out of the University of Arizona. He is a very interesting prospect, especially if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan watching this. I mocked him way back in January. I think Mel Kiper's even mocked him. You're starting to hear his name circulate when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and the left tackle position. When you look at Jordan Morgan, he's 6'4", about 313 pounds. Now, the real knock on him, which we'll see here in the film session, is his arm length, only around 32-inch arm. So a lot of people are having questions. Is he going to be a left tackle, or is he going to be a guard at the NFL level? But this is a guy who played over 2,500 snaps solely at the left tackle position. So he is your pure left tackle, and there's not too many of those with tremendous upside in the draft outside of Jordan Morgan and a few others. So I think that's where he's going to really have value. When you watch him play, he only had about 2 sacks allowed last year, 1 quarterback hit. So pass pro is his thing. He is definitely going to be a player that Cowboys fans should keep their eyes on. So let's go ahead and get into the film. So on this very first play, what you're going to recognize and notice about Jordan Morgan is just the pure athleticism. And you'll just watch on the screen pass how he's able just to get out in space. Now, it's not like he's going to do anything, but just watch how he moves out in space. He is a very athletic tackle, especially for a big boy around 6'4", let's say 320, to round things up a little bit. But he can definitely move, and I think that's going to be the big attraction when it comes to him, is that he's extremely athletic and he has great foot speed and great footwork. So I think that's why a lot of scouts are going to kind of just think about him highly, because when it comes to these speed rushers, and we know at the NFL level, a lot of these edge rushers, they're getting faster and faster and faster and speedier. You need guys, especially in the perimeter, that can move, and Jordan Morgan is definitely that prospect. So next play right here, now we're going to dive into the end zone plays and the end zone film, where we're going to watch him solely. And when you watch Jordan Morgan on this next play right here, you're going to see he kicks out of his stance. He has a great kick out of his stance. Like I said, great footwork. There is a question mark, which we'll talk about here in a second though, but just boom, watch him kick out of his stance. So he has a good solid base. Watch him from the ground up. Boom, right? So good kick, good angles. Now, here is my one concern, and we've talked about this already, kind of, right? Even though he does have shorter arms, he also needs to do a better job of shooting his hands. And I feel like his handwork and his technique, that's going to be the huge area of focus and improvement for him. But you can clean that up, right? So I know a lot of people talked about that in the space that we're in, like, hey, you know, his hands isn't the best. But you think about if you go back to Tyler Smith, right? When Tyler Smith was at Tulsa and we scouted him, he didn't have the best hand placement, the best hands. I mean, sometimes he still kind of struggles a little bit, right? So it's something that can be cleaned up. And I think that Jordan Morgan is definitely the kind of prospect where he's going to be all ears and want to learn and grow, especially if he comes in-house of the Dallas Cowboys. But the one thing I will say about his hands, once he gets them on you, he's not letting go. Like, I mean, he has a cobra clutch, man. So once he gets those hands on you, he's not letting go. I just want them a little bit quicker and just a little bit more violent, because I feel like the NFL level, of course, we always talk about this on this channel, you can't give up your chest, right? So whoever gets to the chest plate wins. And especially, you know, you're gonna have these big physical defensive ends, and if you're giving them open chest, they're going to take advantage of it, especially some of these bull rusher guys that, you know, are around the NFL level. So once again, you'll see that here, right? Good foot speed, good footwork, but boom, he's going to allow his chest wide open. See that right there? He hasn't even shot in his hands yet. So if you playing, let's just say for the Cowboys standpoint, DeMarcus Lawrence, you give him your chest like that, it's a good night, right? Because you're losing all your leverage. But like I said, even with that, just with these reps, and UCLA was one of his best games. I mean, I watched UCLA, I watched Oregon, Colorado, Oregon State, Washington, USC. So I watched a lot of film on this kid, right? And this is what I'll say is one of his best games. But like I said, this is the one thing that he really just needs to focus on at the NFL level, because especially if you have shorter arm length and you're allowing them to get into your chest, and these bull rushers, they'll be able to control you, right? But even though that happens, he does a good job of anchoring and not allowing number 4 to get disengaged and get upfield. On this next play right here, you'll just see, that lateral movement, that athleticism, him being able to move sideline to sideline a little bit. He has very fluid hips. Now, sometimes he can use a little bit more bend in his hips, but he can move. Like, he's definitely a mover. So if he has to play guard, I think he'll be perfectly fine at guard. My one concern with him at guard is he really isn't a mauler. He's more of a perimeter kind of dancer footwork guy, right? So he's not a big punishing mauler. So if you're looking for that type of offensive line talent, that really isn't him. But he can definitely move. He can definitely get up, move laterally on the line of scrimmage, can get to the second level and also on the perimeter, right? But if you're going to transition him to guard, he's going to be in the trenches, and that's going to be a whole different ball game. I think he's more of an athletic perimeter guy. And the reason why I've been mocking him, especially highly to the Dallas Cowboys, if you go back to last year, right, we knew that Tyron Smith was returning, but what was the conversation between Mozzie and Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse that ended up ultimately going to Atlanta, right? So they were considering left tackle in last year's class. If you watch Jordan Morgan, just from a scouting standpoint, just from a measurable standpoint, he's very similar to Matthew Bergeron, who went to Atlanta and had a great rookie season thus far. So, if the Cowboys are going to try to right their, I don't want to say wrong, but if they're going to try to redo what they were trying to accomplish last season, I feel like Jordan Morgan and also Troy Fatano possibly could be some of those pure left tackles that will be sitting there at 24. I know a lot of people are talking about Mims and some other prospects, right, and Tyler Guyton, but converting a pure right tackle to over left tackle is not an easy feat. I would like a guy who's been playing left tackle, and I feel like when it comes to Jordan Morgan, he is going to be out of the package ready. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a simple plug and play, and I say probably by year 2, right, he'll probably be a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? Pro Bowl caliber talent. He's just going to be a simple guy you can toss out there if Tyron goes down, which we probably will, right? And he'll be ready to play. Now, there are some things, like I said, we need to clean up, but that's with all prospects, right? Sometimes he lunges a little bit, and he can kind of, get over pursued a little bit also in run blocking, but there's no perfect prospect out here. You know what I'm saying? There's no perfect prospect out there. There's definitely going to be an area of improvement, but he is a clay that you can definitely mold, and he has everything you would look for in a left tackle, especially at the NFL level. Which you'll see here, like I said, even go back to that last play, right? Like I said, he'll just lunge a little bit, like I said, but his hand placement sometimes, but sometimes he's got to get a little bend, right? And you're not going to win every rep, but kind of got swim right there. I mean, that was a hold. I'm not sure why they didn't call it. I mean, if you're a Dallas Cowboys player, they're damn sure going to call that, right? But just some of those little small nuances I think that he needs to work on. But for the most part, man, he's technically sound. And when it comes to pass pro, I mean, he's one of the best in this year's class. Like you'll see right here, just that lateral movement, once again, just on this reach block. Just moving down the line of scrimmage, being able to engage. Like I said, watch how he kicks with his step. Now, some people are probably saying, right, probably want a wider step. So you probably want to shoot that right foot first, right? But like I said, he's still being able to move. Just extremely athletic talent. And kind of give you guys, a simple note. When you're looking for left tackles, I would even say right tackles as well, you're looking for more of that athleticism guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want them to be very low into the ground and have a big wide body. That's more of your guards and your interior guys. So you want guys that can move, kind of have like a leaner type frame and have some athleticism. And that's definitely the case when it comes to Jordan Morgan. And like I said, even though on this play right here, I would like for him to just shoot his hands just a little bit quicker, right? But like I said, once he's engaged, bro, you're not getting off. Like, once he has his clutch on you, it's GG's good night. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't let go. So I think that's the one thing that he just has to realize, right? You have to win those hand fights. You know what I'm saying? You have to win the hand battle. And if you're able to win that and he's able to engage with you as an edge rusher or a linebacker or a defensive tackle, he doesn't let you disengage. at all, right? So if you remember the film, and I'll post in the link, right, when it comes to Troy Fautano, he was actually the opposite, right? There was a lot of times where defensive tackles and defensive ends was able to chop his hands off and get those hands free. Not with Jordan. Once he has some hands on you, bro, you ain't going nowhere. Next play here, just showcasing that lateral movement, just being able to move. Bam. Being able to move. He's a mover. Like I said, he'll be okay at guard, but honestly, y'all, I think he'll be fine at tackle at the NFL level. So I'm kind of curious to see post-combine, like what's the thoughts on him. But I personally think he'll be perfectly fine at left tackle. You just got to clean him up just a bit. Just clean him up just a little bit, right? And like I said, you know, in a passing league, quote unquote, you need your left tackle to protect the blind side. And that's definitely his bread and butter right there. Bam. No disengagement. Still got you. Still got you, bro. Still got you. You ain't going nowhere. Look at the footwork too. Chopping his feet. Right now, some people probably say, you know, one's a little bit slighter bend in the hips. But like I said, not too concerned about it. Now, where he might struggle is like with the lower speed guy who kind of has like that little smaller bend around him. But like I said, for the most part, he can still get low a little bit. Like I said, he's only 6'4". I think that talks, there was like, they were saying he was going to be 6'6", but I think he really measured at the Senior Bowl at 6'4", right? But like I said, once again, just I love the engagement. I love the footwork. Once he's on you, he's on you. And salute to my guy, Dom White from Pick Six Sports. We spoke about it in the space the other night when he was at the Senior Bowl. He says that, you know, when it came to Jordan Morgan, he asked him the question about switching to guard. You know, he said he would do it. He's willing to do whatever, you know, an NFL team would ask him to do. But he's a tackle. And he said, like, when he said that, the look that he gave him was like, nah, bro, that, you know what I'm saying? I would do it. I mean, I would do it, but I'm a tackle. I'm a tackle at the NFL level. And here he is, man. This is beast on beast, man. This is a lot too, who a lot of people are talking about, who I love prospect as well, number 15, right? And this is battling in the trenches. So I think that Jordan Morgan will be perfectly fine at the left tackle position, right? And I think he's going to be out of the box ready. And Stephen Jones came out today, talked about he wants instant impact players, right? And I feel like Jordan Morgan would be a guy that, let's say Tyron goes down, I don't know, week 2 camp or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but if I ask y'all to bet me $10,000 that Tyron Smith will play a full season, none of y'all will do it. And if you will do it, DM me. But I think that he will be out of the box ready if the Cowboys need him to go. And I just think that with Matt Waletzko and, you know, Austin Richards, and you got my guy Earl Bostic, we got some left tackles, and we can sit back and play the development game. But I'm not trying to go through that, y'all. I'm in win now mode, and I need a guy not named Chima Udoga that if something happens to Tyron Smith, he will be ready to go. And I feel like Jordan Morgan will definitely be that prospect. You see him out here on the perimeter. Now, once again, what I'll say is he's not a violent type of left tackle, right? That's the one thing I liked about Troy Fautano out of Washington. He's more violent. He's kind of looking to punish, right? But he's more technically sound. Like I said, he's battling the best on the best right there, right? Dealing with the spin move. I said overall, very good prospect, good upside potential, very low ceiling guy, right? Very low ceiling guy. And if he's sitting there at 24, I would definitely take him, man. So that is Jordan Morgan, left tackle out of the University of Arizona. I would probably think he's going to be a first-round pick. I think as we get closer to the draft, you'll start to hear his name buzz a little bit because there's not a lot of pure left tackles in that second cluster. And he's definitely a guy that can come in and add value to any NFL team, man. So comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. If you love draft content, don't go anywhere because I got tons of draft content. All you got to do is click that playlist right there, and I got you, man. So I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. And Jordan Morgan, I would welcome you in Dallas ASAP. Peace.